Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger comic book review. We just went through Green Lantern Corps, third favorite of the week. The trial of John Stewart ended pretty badly. Next issue we'll find out what happens next. Up to you guys. Red Hood and the Outlaws number 9 crosses over with Hood and The Outlaws. Red Hood, Jason decides to go off and protect Mr. Freeze, who the Court of Owls have targeted. Freeze is fighting one of the Talons. Jason steps in and fights a Talon, except it turns out him and the Talon actually have something in common. This is the first time I've seen a Talon actually act like this. He just doesn't even want to be a Talon. In the end, he's just like, you know what, I just want to end this life and move forward. And he actually asks Jason to help him. There's a crossover in the last 2 pages with Batgirl, which, yeah, I don't read Batgirl, so it really doesn't matter to me. Most of the book was Jason Todd versus Mr. Freeze, then Starfire and Red Arrow versus Arsenal versus Mr. Freeze. Sorry, I'm still used to calling him Red Arrow. And Red Hood versus the Talon, and it's a bunch of versing and fighting throughout the entire book. Really good though. Not my favorite of the week though, and I'll explain why. Up to you guys. If you're collecting this for Red Hood and the Outlaws, it's a good book. If you're collecting this for Red Hood and the Outlaws, once again, it's also a very good book. My favorite from DC this week was Nightwing, number 9. We get more in depth on how actually Dick Grayson was born to actually be a Talon, and the whole death of his family and everything kind of took him away from his destiny. And he's fighting his ancestor, who's explaining to him. You get more into the ancestor's past and how he knew, how he was watching in the Batcave when Batman revealed that he was going to be a Talon. Artwork was really, really good though in this book. And basically it's Nightwing versus his ancestor all the way through the book, while it jumps back and forth between time and stuff like that. And how Dick is a disgrace because he's fighting, you know, the wrong people, and how he came to the Haley Circus and everything. In the end, basically, we all know who won, but it says in the next issue it's the Tomorrow People, so I'm guessing this is all going to round out in the actual Batman book. But yeah, fight was awesome, ending was even better. Up to you guys, but this was my favorite book from DC this week. Really good artwork as well. We're going into Marvel now with a ton of books. A book you really don't need for Ends of the Earth is the Amazing Spider-Man one-shot Ends of the Earth. Spider-Man is in it, however, it's focused really closely on the, it's called the Big Reds, the Big Red 6 and Union Jack. Are the main focus. They're taking care of their spots of the Earth in this issue. Artwork is pretty okay, but this is definitely, if you need a book to skip, actually the artwork was good in the first one. If you need a book to skip, this is definitely a book that you don't need. You only see Spider-Man and Doc Ock in the first couple of pages. This is the only actual Spider-Man page with Black Widow. And then it all goes into everybody else but them, and they're fighting. Spidey does show up with Union Jack a bit, but for the most part that's about all you see Spidey in. So it all leads into the next issue of Amazing Spider-Man though. It's a one-shot. It has to do with the Ends of the Earth. It's like, for those of you completionists, you'll be getting this book. For those of you who aren't completionists and you really don't care about side stuff or one-shots that really aren't worth your while, this is definitely it. You don't need this book. It's up to you guys. I got it just so that I have a full run of Ends of the Earth, because Spider-Man's doing amazing work, and it was okay. I leave this up to you guys. Completely up to you guys. Another book I'm getting just for its crossover, Uncanny X-Men number 12. It's Namor's team in, I forgot where they went when you guys are done. Basically, it takes place right after the X-Men escape in the latest issue of Avengers Versus X-Men. They escape, and they're at the Hellfire Club's stronghold, and they all separate in the beginning of the book. In the very beginning of the book, Cyclops separates the team up into whatever places he thinks that Hope would go. But we follow them. We follow Namor's team to Tabula Rosa. And the Avengers team is She-Hulk, Luke Cage, and The Thing. We get round 3 with The Thing and Namor, along with Luke Cage also fighting Namor. It's one big fight once that happens, all the way through till the end, where they escape because they found out where Hope was in the very end, and it all leads into events in the last week's event, or no, sorry, this week's Avengers Versus X-Men, which we'll get into in a moment. So this is Cyclops' team leading into what we don't see in Avengers Versus X-Men. This is basically filler. This tells you what happened next with Cyclops' team. So it's up to you guys, that one. Jumping in between Avengers vs. X-Men, Hulk Smash The Avengers, issue 3 was pretty good. I enjoyed it a bit. Hulk was being followed or chased by a supervillain. He goes to the Avengers for help. The Avengers help him. Long story short, artwork is a lot better in this book, in my opinion. She-Hulk is part of the is a part of this book also, and pretty happy ending. Next one has Joe Fix. The next issue, I'm sorry, has Joe Fix It. Here's some artwork. I believe this takes place in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. Next is 90s, and then after that's 2000. The artwork was better than the last issue, but definitely by far it leaves a lot to be, let me put it this way, desired. But the artwork was good compared. I don't know why Thor's on the cover. He doesn't really fight the Hulk. They showed the Thor fighting the Hulk, but then again, we've known this before. And here's an advertisement for Cap and Iron Man in the next Cap team-up book. Looking forward to that. Hulk Smash The Avengers is once again something that they're doing because the Avengers came out this month, so they needed a lot of minis and a lot of side stuff with the Avengers. So this was just one of those mini-series that they decided to do to help pump up the movie and the Avengers comic books. Do you need it? Absolutely not. I find it a nice little tidbit, something that breaks away from continuity, and it's working its way up to present-day Avengers and Hulk have their relationship. Breaking away from that now, going back to AVX. Avengers 26 takes place where the secret Avengers are in space. Thor, the Protector fixes up the containment unit that did not work the first time to contain a piece of the Phoenix Force, and it turns out they need Thor's hammer for it to work. Mjolnir actually is what was needed to contain the actual Phoenix Force. Beautiful artwork in this page. I like the artwork in this book. In the end, though, one of the secret Avengers, I won't say who, but if you've seen yeah, you had to have seen the next cover. It turns out the Protector turns on the Avenger and he's like, I can't let you do that. I promised to bring it back to the Kree homeworld, the Phoenix Force that was contained. I can't allow you guys to stop the Phoenix Force. I promise I bring the Phoenix Force back to the Kree world. And yeah, he turns on the Avengers at the end of this issue, to be continued in the next issue. Yeah, that was dumb. It's right on the cover too. So for me not to tell you, it's kind of like, duh, it's right here. Once again, filler, telling you guys what happened in space before the events in the latest issue of Avengers vs. X-Men, which is coming up pretty soon. Something that's taking place on the side. This has it has a connection to Avengers vs. X-Men, but it's something that's happening on the sidelines. Avengers Academy issue 30. Sebastian Shaw is free, and they have to find him. He's roaming around Avengers Academy, broke free from his prison, and his target is is Emma Frost's X-Men students, the students she has from Utopia, and he's definitely he wants to kill them to hurt Emma Frost because she stole his memories, but apparently he remembers for some reason. I don't know. I didn't follow Cyclops' side. The mutants that are in the Avengers Academy are actually debating with each other about if they're on the right side. That the X-Kid shouldn't be forced to stay here. X-23 throughout this entire book is having a struggle between whether she should be on the X-Kid side or in the Avengers Academy side. In the end, there's a whole Kid Avengers or Avengers Academy versus X-Men kids for a brief moment, and turns out that X-23 says that if they really want to leave, it should be their right. They're not really prisoners. They should have the right to do whatever they want. However, spoiler alert here, in the very end, Sebastian Shaw shows up. Turns out he gets through Tigra and the other, not Tigra, the beginning of the book tells us all. He gets through Tigra and the others, and Hercules, and now he's heading for the X students and also the Avenger students. and he's looking to destroy them to hurt Emma Frost. So this is basically something that's going on somewhere else. It is attached to Avengers Versus X-Men because it's ramifications from Avengers Versus X-Men. However, this has no it doesn't involve itself in the main story at all. This is just the Academy. I'm enjoying this book a lot. I like the artwork. I thank a few people who have mentioned this book to me that I should be picking it up. I will definitely be picking it up after Avengers Versus X-Men in 2013 when all this is rounded out and finished with. Leaving Avengers Versus X-Men for a little while, we have 4 books that deviate from Avengers Versus X-Men. First one is Daredevil, issue 13. Daredevil orchestrates the best fake fight with the returning, once Mike's done, what's the name of the dang making stupid crime, so many dang things, the returning Black Spectres. You get a little recap with Foggy, who's questioning a lot from Matt Murdock, but we don't know what he finds in Matt's office. We were left off there. Then we get a reminder of what happened in the latest issue with the Black Spectre coming back. He orchestrates this big fight between all Mega Crime, but in the end the Black Spectre show up, and yeah, they make quick work of Daredevil. The Omega Drive is taken away, but it turns out, here's a spoiler alert, guys, actually, let me leave it this way. The Black Spectres aren't who they seem. And the Omega Drive is put back into somebody's hands, but in good hands. Let's leave it at that. And then the very end, I'm leaving as a huge cliff. It was left at a huge cliffhanger. I was like, that was done. But let's just say Daredevil is left someplace, is teleported away. And he wants to know where he is, and it turns out he's somewhere. And I can't wait for the next issue. The ending of this book leaves me in suspense for an entire 4 weeks. I can't live with this suspense. He's taken someplace, and I don't want to say where. I'll say it with the 3-second countdown, and if you guys want, I'm only gonna say it once in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Latveria, where Dr. Doom is. So the next issue involves that character. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next in Daredevil. Daredevil just continues to be an awesome book. I'm sorry, top-notch book. Top-notch book. And Venom continues to climb also with Venom 18. Venom versus Mr. Pumpkin Man again. Eddie Brock shows up as Toxin. This book is one big fight. And the ending of this book is a shocker as well. Michael already saw it. Let's just say somebody finds out who Venom is in this issue, and the whole book, though, is an awesome fight. Eddie basically is there to protect Betty from, God, why can't I remember his name for the life of me? I don't remember, but basically he's trying to get into contact with Betty. He ends up a little late. Great artwork, though, however. So throughout the whole book, he's protecting her against the pumpkin. I can't remember his name. Wow, this is horrible. I'm gonna remember afterwards. And it's just one huge fight, and then Eddie shows up, and it's another huge fight. And then there's the huge reveal at the end, and a huge to be continued happens. It's huge. I can't wait for the next issue. I can't spoil it for you guys, but Betty doesn't want to be saved by Venom at first, but then she finds out that Venom's only trying to protect her, and she kind of eases up on him a bit. But wow, this was a good issue. This was good. This was amazing also. 2 amazing books out of Marvel. And then to top it all off, Winter Soldier issue 5 came out, concluding the first story arc with Dr. Doom. They have to find the missile silo and stop the missile before it happens. Bucky has to stop the sleeper agent from sending off the rocket, and Dr. Doom goes after Lucia, I want to say her name is, and there, Scott, you would love this book. There's a bunch of huge gorillas with machine guns in this book. I'll actually get that page. It was epic. The artwork was epic. It was amazing, and actually Dr. Doom's actually in his element with the whole fighting against crazy people. And in the end, it turns out, spoiler alert here, the third sleeper agent, nobody knows where it is. It was released already. And it actually says, next issue, what did happen to the third sleeper? We don't know. And a whole bunch of stuff happens throughout this book. It was fun having Dr. Doom, you know, working with Bucky and Black Widow. It was just an enjoyable book from beginning to end. And also, what's his name, got away in the end, though. Red Ghost got away in the end. So, you know it's going to show up at some, they're going to show up again at some point. But, this is really good. Really good. 3 really good issues that were out of the way from Avengers Versus X-Men. And the 4th one, of course, being Invincible Iron Man 517. Tony Stark has Reed Richards take the Iron Man out of his body so that this way the General and Miss Hammer will take off the monitoring ring that's around his arc reactor. However, Tony Stark has another plan in mind, and the General actually says he's going after Rescue next. And you also get more background into Zeke and Tony Stark's childhoods a bit. Like, Tony Stark takes apart a gun and his grandfather's like, well, now you gotta put it back together. And Tony's like, help? No, you do it. The question now is, how will you clean it up? How will you fix it? And it was really, really good. There's an attack on Stark resilience as well, but it turns out Tony Stark is still at the Baxter building and he has his backup plan. And you're left off wondering what it is, but he's asking Reed Richards to install it on him. Do I have a feeling there's going to be a new Iron Man suit? And War Machine's back in a new suit, which I won't spoil. You guys are just going to have to be here for the next issue to find out. Well, actually, if you guys saw the cover already, you know exactly what... actually, you should know already. And the suit looks awesome. I'm looking forward to see what the new Iron Man suit's going to look like. However, I like this suit. I liked his new suit, and he didn't have it long enough. Oh well. It's going to be fun to see what happens next with Iron Man. I loved it. This was... Actually, I'm glad. I told you guys I want them to get that thing off of him. Finally, they took it off. They're not monitoring Iron Man anymore. But Iron Man has a side plan. And I can't wait to see what Tony Stark's side plan is. This series just got better. I'm happy now. They took that monitoring thing off. I just can't wait to see what happens next. Next issue is going to be awesome. I have a feeling. Okay, last 2 issues. The biggest ones. Now with a free digital download code. I don't know why they didn't do it in issue 1. Avengers Versus X-Men versus number 2. In this book, it's actually, finally, not a full one-sided win. There's actually 1 win from each side. It has Spider-Man versus Colossus and Cap versus Gambit. Cap versus Gambit was awesome. Spidey versus Colossus was just as good. It was fun seeing Gambit supercharge Cap's shield, but it didn't explode. Like, for some reason, it actually survived the explosion. Great artwork, as always. I don't want to give too much away because Mike's going to be reviewing this book also. But it was really good. And I also enjoyed the Spider-Man versus Colossus without giving away who won either side. Michael will give it away at the end of the month, though, I'm sure. So for you guys, if you guys want to know who wins, check out Michael's review at the end of the month, his last monthly review, and you'll hear more about this. I'm enjoying Versus. It's a nice little side story. There's 4 more issues left. I'll be getting it. Really good. I would highly recommend checking it out. Now, what I can review fully and Michael just build up on. Avengers Versus X-Men, issue 4. The I'm with the Avengers cover. Avengers are looking for hope. X-Men are looking for hope. And Wolverine is in Antarctica. And Hope goes to Wolverine for help in Antarctica. So, basically, she asks Wolverine to help her, that he needs to believe in her, that she can control it. We also get a piece of the space fight that's going on that happened in Avengers. You get connections all around. When the Avengers leave... so that was the Avenger tie-in. Hold on. The next part where Cyclops and Emma Frost are at the Hellfire Stronghold, that connects to the Uncanny X-Men part. She uses Toad to try to find... what do you call it? To find Hope. using Cerebro. She jumps all over the place. There's a connection to Versus in this book also. There's a bunch of connections to this book. Basically, the other books basically just add a little bit more into... it beefs out the story a bit more. So then when they can't find Hope that way, Emma Frost connects to Iron Man, and it turns out they know where Hope is. And Hope is at an AIM World Works, and her and Wolverine are looking for a rocket ship to go to the moon. They go to the moon. It turns out Wolverine ratted out Hope, and because the Avengers found out through Iron Man where Hope was, they show up on the moon too. But unfortunately, so does something else, and we're not going to find out in 3 weeks to what happens next. But guess what's showing up really soon on the moon? And the next issue, I believe the words "No More Avengers" happens, and there's a lot that happened in the middle of this book. By now, you guys know about the ending of this book because everybody's been talking about it on the internet already. We don't know what's going to happen next. Really good. Definitely. Where are you going?
Oh,
this is definitely no, not yet. This is definitely book of the week. The artwork's really good. The story's really good. Wolverine obviously was not kicked off the Avengers because he's been working. He actually told the Avengers where she was, so he's actually working with the Avengers again. So for everybody who thought he was going to get thrown off the Avengers team permanent, obviously he's not. We don't know what's going to happen though further on down the line. There's still, I believe the next issue is the final part to the first act of Avengers Versus X-Men, and then the next few issues are going to be the second part. But this has just been wow from point A to point B. It's been just awesome. I look forward to the next issue. It's just been amazing. Marvel, this is definitely in the top 10 and has reason to be. It's just amazing. And that's it for this week's comic book review. Next week we have a few tie-ins to Avengers Versus X-Men, I believe. Couple of number ones, and an old comic that Mr. Sentinel here is going to be holding. But until then, let's round out this week and we can all move forward from there. Avengers vs. X-Men number 4, round 4. Wow. Awesome. Guys, you should be checking this out. Avengers vs. X-Men Versus is up to you guys. It's a side story. It's just straight up fighting. AVX facts are still, fun facts are still in this. Up to you guys completely. I'm doing it because I'm liking the mini. Invincible Iron Man 517 was awesome. I would highly recommend that, as well as Winter Soldier 5, Venom 18, and Daredevil 13. All three were spectacular this week. Avengers Academy 30 was pretty good. I'm glad people recommended it to me. Avengers 26 beefed out the story with the Avengers in space. Hulk Smash Avengers issue 3 of 5 was pretty good. Uncanny X-Men 12 beefed out the Cyclops side of Avengers vs. X-Men. Up to you guys. Amazing Spider-Man Ends of the Earth one-shot. Best book from DC this week was Nightwing number 9, followed by Red Hood and The Outlaws number 9, and the hearing, or the John Stewart on trial was in this issue. I leave the Green Lantern Corps up to you guys. Lock and Key Clock's work concluded this week. Awesome. Highly recommend Lock and Key in general, the entire series, as well as Manhattan Project 3, which was another awesome book. Secret Service miniseries issue 2 was also awesome by Dave Gibson and Mark Miller. Can't go wrong with that team up. Saga issue 3 continues to push the series strong. Hardcore issue 1, give it a look. You might like it. I'm coming back for issue 2. Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, Force Storm issue 4 of 5. Up to you guys. If you're Star Wars fans, you'll be getting it. If you're not, you won't. The Shadow issue 2 was also awesome. If you're a fan of the Shadow, you'll be buying this issue. If not, you won't be. Same thing with Voltron issue 5. If you like Voltron, you'll be picking it up. If not, you won't. Mega Man issue 13 surprised me. I liked it. I'll be coming back for the next issue. Up to you guys also. And that is this week's Dark Avenger comic book review. If you enjoyed this video, if you liked the comic book I reviewed, if you didn't like a comic I reviewed, or if you have any questions about any of the comics I reviewed, I love comments. Feel free to comment below. If you like this video, give it a favorite. Show YouTube that you like this video. Because I don't have the thumbs up and down because of the opinion thing. I've told you guys a million times about that. I don't want to repeat myself. If you're brand new to this channel and you enjoyed this video, there's a subscribe button. Hit it. Also, go to Dark Avenger Inc. and hit a subscribe button there. Big things are coming for Dark Avenger Inc. in the summer. And big things are coming for this channel too. So like I said, if you like this video and you're new to this channel, or if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because there's big things coming this summer and in general for Dark Avenger and Dark Avenger Inc. Okay guys, so that's it for Last week's Dark Avenger review. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Comic books coming out. Looking forward to unboxing Friday. Having a little bit of trouble with my debit, so unfortunately I might be making my order a bit late this week, so the comic books might be coming a bit late this week. But hopefully we'll have an unboxing Friday next week. But this week's unboxing Friday will be on time. I'll make an Avenger log in 2 weeks if that's the case. Anyway guys, take care. I'll see you guys real soon in another video. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I'll see you guys real soon. Take care everybody.